Welcome. Come on in. Come on in and get comfortable. On today's episode of That BS podcast, we're talking about my story, your story. Our story is sacred. And this is day 30 in the Learning How to Flow in Midlife 55-day series. In today's deeply affirming episode, we're going to be reminded that every part of our journey, both the pain and the power, is holy ground. We're going to talk about the woman who has questioned whether her story is worthy of being told and offer a powerful reframe. Your story isn't just valid, it's sacred. This episode is an invitation to reclaim your narrative, speak your truth, and honor every chapter without shame. As I mentioned, this is day 30 and Learning How to Flow in Midlife 55-day series with 55 days of giveaways. I am super excited that I'm coming up on chapter 55 and I'm celebrating. Somebody cue the graffiti. I am celebrating by giving away this course, lesson by lesson, Your Midlife, Your Way, a journey to an unapologetically authentic self. And lesson 30 is love your intellectual self. Love your intellectual self. And the QR code is right here. And keep in mind, this is free, free, free. I know it's my signature course, but it is free. That's how serious I am about getting this in your hands. All right, let's jump in. My story is sacred. And keeping in mind that we're using the F.L.O.W framework that I have created. F.L.O.W. You all can say it with me. The F is for face the unbelief. L, let go of the lie. O, own your story. And W, win at your next chapter. So, in thinking about our stories being sacred, I couldn't help but think about back in the day in church, growing up in church, we used to have a segment in the church service called testimony service, right? And it was a time when people could get up and share their story, share their testimony about, you know, what happened that week, what God is doing in their lives, and the impact and things that are happening in their lives. And I do understand why we stopped doing testimony service. I do. I get it because sometimes, um, hold on, here we go, responding back to a viewer, because sometimes people just wouldn't know what to say, right? they just wouldn't know what to say during testimony service. I mean, people would say some inappropriate things, or people would go entirely too long. So we stopped doing testimony service. But one thing about that I did appreciate about testimony service is that people shared their stories. They shared what they were dealing with, and typically at the end of each testimony was the standard line is, those of you who know the power of prayer, please pray for me and I'll pray for you. So one of the things that we were able to find out is what uh, our church members were going through and how to specifically pray for them. Well, here we are today. Fast forward the clock. No more testimony service, right? But everybody has a story. Everybody has something that they're dealing with. Everybody has their trials, tribulations, their ups and their downs every day that we wake up and we have breath in our body. There's something to deal with. And as we age, there's something. There is always something. And we have to stop suffering in silence, right? We need to share our story so that other people know that they're not by themselves. So, for example, I am in my next chapter, embracing my next chapter, navigating my next chapter. That's what this series is all about. And to offer encouragement for anyone else who was in the same position that I am in navigating this next chapter, this next phase of life, but also in navigating this next phase of life for myself. I'm in the sandwich. I have my parents that I am offering a level of caregiving for and making sure things are in place for them. My children are adults, so they're on their journey and their path and operating in an advisory capacity. So that's two hands full, right? Or a plate full. But I still have to carve out, put myself on the list, make sure that I don't lose sight of where I am in life and what it is that I believe I'm still need to accomplish at this stage of life. And maybe there is somebody else like me. You find yourself in the same position. You have a full plate. Shoot, getting to midlife, we focused on a lot of other people and other things our entire lives in order to get where we are, right? Career wise, most of us wanted to advance in our careers so that we could provide for our children, right? Provide for them what they needed, get them into college and off into their lives and launched into their lives. And then here we are now that they have launched. What do we want to do next? And in asking that question, there's still responsibilities that are piling on. So our stories are sacred. Um, they need to be shared. You need to share where you are and what you're experiencing. Oftentimes, I know during Suicide Prevention Month in particular, it talks about checking on your strong friends, right? A lot of times people that have a lot of things going on, they booked and busy and all of the things, they have things that they're dealing with and they have some low points. So in knowing that our story is sacred, let's jump into our framework. And I apologize for being late because I was in the midst of managing the handfuls of stuff. My God, and looked up and saw what time it was. So please forgive me for that. Also, thank you for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate it. Please share this with somebody that you know would be encouraged by it. Like today's episode, and I'm also, I'll tell you later when we get to the 55th day. Oh my gosh, I have so much good stuff to tell you about what's going on. But anyway, let's go to the framework about how our story is sacred. The F in the flow, facing the unbelief. Point number one, confronting the belief that your story is too ordinary, too broken, or too messy to matter. That has to be corrected. Facing the unbelief number two is acknowledging where silence was used to protect others at your expense. Now, I'm going to sit on this a little bit. Acknowledging where your silence was used to protect others at your expense. When we don't share our stories because we're concerned about other people, we are postponing our healing. We are postponing our promotion because we're concerned about other people. Us being silent is harming us because we're concerned about somebody else, and that's at our expense. When we hold in the things that concern us and our story and our testimony and what we're dealing with, that impacts our body. We are holding that in. It's like holding on to a toxin or eating a toxin and allowing a toxin to stay in our body. We have to shift that belief. And the third bullet point for face the unbelief is naming the fear that your story will be misunderstood or rejected. Someone needs to hear your story. There is someone watching you, admiring you, thinking that you are a overnight success, thinking that everything is peachy keen. And I'm not saying that it's not all good, but people also need to know what it is that you have had to press through and work through in order to get where you are and have the experiences that you're having. So for example, it's like keeping up with the Joneses, right? I often say to people in my coaching clients is that we don't know what the Joneses had to do. We don't know what their sacrifices were. We don't know how people are living on the other side of the door. We just think we're seeing one thing, but we really don't know what's going on, right? So naming the fear that your story will be misunderstood or rejected. It's not going to be misunderstood. It's going to be understood by those who need to understand. All right. L, let go of the lie. Releasing the lie that your past disqualifies your future. We've talked about that. Number two, letting go of the belief that your voice doesn't carry value. I am a firm believer that every day that the good Lord allows us to wake up, it is because we have purpose and we have a plan in this day. Because one thing is for certain and two things for sure, that anything that no longer has an added value on the earth is no longer here. Okay? Can somebody say dinosaurs? Can somebody say ice age? Can somebody, okay, anything that is no longer necessary or has fulfilled its purpose and its assignment is no longer here. Because you are here, because you see me, you hear me, you have a purpose and a plan. Your voice has value. Your very presence has value. So we don't need you to be silent. The third bullet is dismantling the myth that someone else needs to validate your truth. It is your truth, hon. It's your truth. Nobody else needs to validate it. It's yours. Own your story, the O in the flow framework. Number one, embracing your lived experience as your greatest asset. Your lived experience. The one thing I used to watch um, uh, Pastor Keon and Shawnee's podcast, and I love what they said is that, we're not experts, but we have experience, right? Embracing your lived experience as your greatest asset. One thing is clear is that when we have had an experience about something, when we have experience, nobody can take that experience away, right? That is our greatest asset. I am famous for saying that wasn't my experience. My experience was, I hear you, I understand. That wasn't my experience. This was my experience. I'm not saying you're going to have the same one. I'm not saying when you make the call, this is what's going to happen. I'm not saying when you do X, Y, and Z, this is what's going to happen. I can share with you my experience. Your experience is your greatest asset. It's again back to the church reference. The old ladies in the church, of which now I am the old lady, would say, I know too much about him. You can't make me doubt him, right? I know who God is. I've studied various religions and religious texts and all that sort of thing. I know who God is. You can't convince me of anything else because I have experience and a relationship with God for myself, which is the reason why one of my favorite scriptures is in Job. I think it's 42, 43, the last book in Job, where he says to God, I heard about you. I have heard about you, but now I know you for myself. Come on now. Mm. Number two bullet in Own Your Own Story, giving language to the lessons, not just the losses. Come on. I wish I had graffiti. No, I don't actually, because if I had graffiti, I would be pissed off because then I would want to be sweeping it up. Giving language to the lessons, not just the losses. You've got some lessons that I need to learn from, somebody else needs to learn from. And guess what? There are even lessons in the losses. Give some language to that. Share that. Because guess what? Lessons learned are not often repeated. And if we glean the lessons from our losses, when we find ourselves in a position again, because we will, where we have obtained a thing, a place, a position, resources, whatever the case may be, because we've gleaned the lesson in the losses, we're not going to make the same mistakes the next time. But we have to give language to it. We have to talk about it. We have to share in order to be able to get those lessons and those nuggets. And the third and final bullet for Own Your Story is honoring your story as a gift to you and others. It is a gift, not only for yourself, but for somebody else. Win the W in the flow framework. Win at the next chapter. Here we go. Bullet number one, sharing your truth with clarity, not apology. What you got to apologize for? And who do you have to apologize to? This is your truth and sharing it with clarity. Bullet number two, living out loud from a place of worth, not wounds. Living out loud from a place of worth, not wounds. Everything that you have experienced, adding to your value. We talked about it. So you're not a healed person, talks from a healed place, not a wounded place. What is that cliche we often say is hurt people hurt people? Let's reverse that. Heal people heal people. So you sharing and living out from a place of worth and not wounds is you living out loud from a healed place, from a whole place, from a place that you listen, you want for other people a healing and a wholeness that you're experiencing. You want others to have the peace that passes all understanding. So that's what you're going to share with other people. When you come into the presence of individuals who always got some mess going or like to keep some mess going, they're operating from a wounded place. They're not healed yet. But because you are in the place of knowing your value and your worth, you're living out loud from your worth and not your wounds. And the third and final bullet is inspiring others by walking fully in your testimony. One thing is for certain is that when you're walking fully in your testimony, it's difficult for people to turn you in another direction because it's like, nah, this is work for me. I know God is a God of repeat performances because I've been here before and gotten through. I know I'll get through again. And God is not, he doesn't play favorites. I know some parents have a favorite child over the other, but we're all God's favorite, right? And so because we're all God's favorite, what he's done for one, he's done for the other. And so we're going to be walking fully in our testimony. Here's our call to action. Journal this, asking yourself these two questions. Question number one: what part of my story have I been afraid to honor? What part of my story have I been afraid to honor? And the second journaling question to answer is, what would shift if I believed it was sacred? What would shift if I believed it, meaning your story, was sacred? Then share this episode with someone whose story needs to be seen, heard, and celebrated. And don't forget that today's giveaway, 100% free, is lesson 30 of the course Your Midlife Your Way, a journey to an unapologetically authentic self. It is a video. Lesson 30 is love your intellectual self. I'm telling you, as you put each of these freebies together, it is going to bless your life in being your full, authentic self, unapologetically. Okay. Here is a larger QR code just in case you didn't see it. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, hopefully on time at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I love you. I so appreciate you. Don't forget to like and share. And for those of you who are watching on the replay, thank you so much. Please share this with somebody that you know is ready for their next chapter and ready to show up unapologetically authentic as themselves. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night. Have a good evening.